Let's see, another question. I'm looking into visiting next year around April, then move within a year. My budget is $1,500. I'm single, and let's see, I'm single with my little girl, dog, and I'm a vegan. Can we live there comfortably?
Well, my answer to that would be categorically, yes, you can. And you can live here comfortably in a lot of different locations. Part of it will depend upon what kind of lifestyle you're accustomed to and want to maintain. I don't know your lifestyle in the United States, so I can't make a one-for-one comparison, but I would say easily on $1,500 a month where we live, you could live in Gracia if you were in some other locations like the beach or a very metropolitan high-end area like Escazú, maybe not so much. But, you know, many areas in Costa Rica, you could easily live on that amount of money.
Yeah, I agree. I think $1,500 for a single person is, you can live quite comfortably in most places in Costa Rica. Bringing the dog is fine. We brought over a couple of dogs, so that shouldn't be an issue. The only thing I can see that might be a little bit of an issue is the vegan part. Because it's not easy everywhere in Costa Rica to get really good vegetables. Now, if you want organic vegetables, I guess fruits and vegetables, I guess I should specify
Fruits and vegetables are sensible.
Yeah.
Go pick them off a tree.
Yeah.
But as far as organic and things of that nature are concerned, that's very situational, and I think it's an ongoing experience for me as far as learning how to do that. And opportunities and circumstances are changing as far as availability on a daily basis.
Right.
There are probably certain areas that seem to have more of a population that interests that. I read about on the beach areas, I think outside of Manuel Antonio, there's a lot of interest in that. And also on the Caribbean side in Puerto Viejo, there's a strong interest in that.
Yeah.
In the city itself, in San Jose, there are communities that are, I think, trying to make it a lot easier for people who are of that persuasion.
Yes, I agree. I think the same thing. In some places, if you're in bigger cities, for instance, like San Jose or some of the beach communities, I think it's a lot easier than living where we are in the Central Valley. And again, I just say that is if you're looking for organic fruits and vegetables. If you're just looking for fruits and vegetables, just any kind of fruits and vegetables, they are plentiful everywhere and they're very affordable, so that wouldn't be an issue. Okay, next question was, how do you go about getting your mail from the States? And I'll start with this one because I'm the one that gets most of the mail. I signed up with a company here in Gracia called AeroPost. And with this particular, it's a mail forwarding company. And you can just go in with your passport and a credit card, and you can set it up. It's very easy to do. Your mail, you have two different addresses. One is a local address for packages, and the other one is a post office box for your mailed letters, correspondence, things of that nature. And whenever a letter or package is received, the company will send you an email, and you can go into town and pick it up. Thing about it is they don't scan it, they don't look at it first. If a piece of mail comes in, they're going to email you to come in and pick it up. And if it's junk mail, you're still going to get charged for it. I think it's about a little over $1 per item for the mail. I think the boxes are a little more. It might depend on how heavy they are or something. I'm not really sure. I think the last time I got a box, I got charged $1.58. There's also mail forwarding companies that you can set up in the States before you come, where they will scan your mail for you and let you know what the mail is, and you can decide whether or not you want to accept the mail or you want to have them destroy the mail, and that way you don't get charged for every piece of mail, getting charged for junk mail or whatever that you don't really want. You can also use the post office in the city, if your city has a post office. Ours does have one.
I'd like to comment on that.
Okay. And
regarding the P.O. boxes, when we first came here, there was some question as to the availability of mail service in all of the towns, cities of Costa Rica. You always get different answers from different people. as far as how that works. In fact, in, I think, every area except for the very small towns, there is a post office or there is a point of postal delivery. So you can get mail. However, it may be very slow. So if someone just wants to send you a letter or whatever, you can send it through the Costa Rican, U.S. and Costa Rican system, and it will arrive at some time. Sometimes it's 3 days and sometimes it's 3 months. So it depends upon on what you want to do and where you're living. If you're living in Gracia or you're living in even a larger city like Heredia or Alajuela, you're probably going to get more consistent delivery service. But if you're living in a small community on the beach, like in Capos or smaller, then it may be not quite as reliable. But I think the system does work overall.
Oh, and also just to add, the reason why this is even an issue is because in most of the towns like Grecia, they may have addresses in San Jose, but there's no addresses here. And there's no day-to-day mail service delivery. And that's the reason why people are wondering how you get your mail, because there's not a mailman that goes, neighborhood to neighborhood, house to house and delivers mail. So you have to have some point where you can have your packages and mail sent to, that you'll be able to go and pick it up so that you can receive it.
Some people have private arrangements with merchants. We know someone here who has a merchant in town, and when he has a package that needs to be delivered, it goes to that merchant, and then he goes in there and picks it up. Some people have P.O. boxes, and they have products and mail delivered to their P.O. box. I'm referring specifically to Gracia. I'm not saying this can be done in every community, every place in Costa Rica. I suspect it can be done, again, in the larger towns and cities. So there is a way to get things done. You do have to know who and where in order to make those things occur.
Right. Okay, next question is, if you're retired, how did you get your pension money to be sent over there? Want to start?
I'm going down my list. Oh my God.
Well, I'll go here. I'll go first. I do not have a bank in Costa Rica. I am using the credit union bank and the bank that I have set up in the U.S. And I just arranged with a change of address. Well, yeah. No, not even a change of address. I just had my Social Security pension information go directly into my account in the States, and then I have access to it here. I go to the ATM whenever I need money, and I take the money out that way. You can use credit cards and debit cards here pretty easily in most places if it's not like a small vendor or like at the ferry or something like that where you have to have cash. Restaurants and stores pretty much will take your ATM card, debit or credit card. And I don't like to carry cash, but on the other hand, there are some people that would rather have cash than use their ATM card.
I will make a couple of additional comments. I would reemphasize what you said as far as getting your pension is concerned. Easy. Just use the ATM. And one consideration using the ATM is every time you use the ATM, it costs you money. And it isn't 50 cents, it's actually $3.
Which I think is the same as it is in the States, but anyway.
When I use the ATM in the States, it doesn't cost me anything. When I use the ATM in Costa Rica to make withdrawals on my pension, because you have a different bank system, it costs $3. So it will depend upon how your bank interacts with the Costa Rican system, whether you're going to get the preferred rates like Kevin, or you're going to get the actual rate like I get.
Oh, also, I think too, like, what I'm talking about, I think the $3 is like if you don't use your bank's ATM. Like if you have Wells Fargo or something like that, if you go to a Wells Fargo ATM, you don't get charged. But I think if you're in the States and you take your Wells Fargo card to Bank of America, I don't think it's free.
It varies. Some banks do charge you and some don't. But really what I'm specifically referring to is what the charge is here. It's $3 if you want to make a withdrawal for your pension fund, so, from your pension. So you try to limit that. I try to anyway, do it once or twice or 3 times a month at most, because those charges, like everything else, adds up. I would like to comment further regarding Costa Rica and banks. Sooner or later, most people do get a Costa Rican bank account, and the reason why they do it is because it's easier to pay your bills in Costa Rica if you have a Costa Rican bank account. You can, of course, write checks. You can get a charge card issued from the Costa Rican bank, which you will have no issue about using anywhere in Costa Rica. In addition to that, something else that I found out recently is that some of the banks, and I can't name them right now, I was told very recently this by an North American expat, that they have their Social Security check deposited directly in their Costa Rican bank account. So they do not have to go through a correspondent relationship. And they don't have to go through an American bank. It goes directly into the Costa Rican bank, just like it would in the U.S. So there are other ways that all these things can be done, but banking is something that it's good to do your research on.
Yes, and also I might add as well, on the banking situation, it's preferable when you're paying your rent to have your rental agreement so that you pay your rent in dollars, in U.S. dollars. When you're here in Costa Rica, not all banks have U.S. dollars, and I think sometimes they limit the amount that you can get out, so those are things that you have to take into consideration. And the other thing I was going to say about banking is, the other thing is if you're going to use a U.S. bank, the fees do vary, and if you use an account like a Charles Schwab account, a credit union account, and also a Capital One, those I know for sure have less fees and less conversion fees, like when you're using your charge card or whatever, than some of the bigger banks like, say, maybe Bank of America, Wells Fargo.